Hello. So in this video, we're going to talk about the poetry of Beth Brant, which I'm reading out of Native Poetry in Canada. So Brant is from the Mohawk Nation, but she was actually born in Detroit, which those of you who know your geography will know is in the United States. Her father's heritage, he, according to the introduction, the biography of Brant, he and his parents, in whose home Brant's father and Scots-Irish mother lived, were born in Tyendinga on the Bay of Quinte, Mohawk Territory in Ontario. So her family, so this is kind of an interesting one because the Mohawk originally, I say originally, I mean kind of at the time of colonization, the Haudenosaunee, so being from the state of New York, or being raised in the state of New York, I have at least basic history of the Haudenosaunee, generally known as the Iroquois. And the Mohawk were one of the nations of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. From at least the few centuries prior to European colonization, the Haudenosaunee lived in what's now New York. Following the colonization by the British of most of New York, the British and then subsequently the Americans, following the colonization of most of what's now New York State, the Haudenosaunee nations were largely driven out. Not entirely, but largely, and one of the places that many of them went, including the Mohawk, was to Ontario. And so it's kind of interesting, slightly ironic in a sort of cosmic sense, that Brant's Mohawk ancestors would have left what's now the United States and gone to Canada, and then her father left Canada to return to the United States. And now Brant's work is included in this anthology of Canadian poetry. So, Brant's work, her poetry is very much focused on issues of feminism, LGBT identity, indigeneity, and trauma. At least the poems that are included in this anthology, which is a fairly small number of them, are really centered on experiences of suffering and what those experiences mean or can be made to mean. And a lot of that deals with identity, identity categories into which Brant herself fit, Indigenous identities, female identities, LGBT identities. As always, we do want to avoid imposing the identity of the author on the identity of the speaker of the poems, but there do seem to be ethical concerns that it's not difficult to imagine that Brant herself is working through the course of these poems. And I think of the ones that I'm gonna read for you, I think that's most apparent in the poem Telling. So this is an incredibly powerful poem. Brant's poems also tend to be quite long for poems, so that's worth mentioning at the start, because this is going to take me a little while to read all the way through it, but it's so good and it's so powerful. It also has such an emotional punch that I may have difficulty reading this sort of straight through. But again, one of the things that this poem really exemplifies is Brant's ideological concern with the power of art and the role of art and self-expression in making sense of traumatic experiences within the world. So this is Telling. For Celeste, who told me to tell, and for Vicky. Her face is wide, innocent, clear. She tells me things. They are secrets. He did this to me. He told me not to tell. I never told until now. Her face twists for an instant, then returns to its rightful beauty. I listen. She doesn't cry, but my eyes feel the familiar moisture seeping out, dropping on my hand that holds hers. How dare these tears appear when she who had the courage to tell doesn't weep? She gives me this. Secrets. I receive a package in the mail. When I open it, a diary falls into my hands. How she got my name, my address, she doesn't say. Her letter says, I need to show this to you. You can throw the diary away if you want. I just needed to tell. The diary's pink. There are gold words stamped on the cover, Dear Diary. I'm afraid to open you, dear diary, afraid of the secrets I have to keep. He did this to me. My father did this to me. They did this to me. They did this. I think the pages should weep as I do when I read her life. Who turned away from her need to tell? Who could throw away the pink vinyl book of a life thrown away by others' need to throw away a life? What do I do with this, dear diary? A writer can read, she can hear, she can write. What does she do with the need to tell, the need of someone to tell? Our foster child comes to live with us. One leg is crippled, the burn marks shriveling the skin. This is his 5th foster home. He is 3 years old. He is difficult. He burns with anger, the scars we cannot see. He can't talk. He points to things and grunts. In 3 years, no one has noticed he can't speak words. My anger burns me. I feel as if I have swallowed hot grease. What does his anger feel like? We enroll him in a preschool for a few hours of the day, hoping the exchange with other children will help him heal. I take him to school and explain that he will be playing with other kids for a while and I will be back to get him. When I return, he comes out into the hall, a look of surprise on his little dark face. He smiles with delight at me. I realize he thought I wasn't coming back, and he accepted it as normal, as right. My precious throwaway boy. You were taught, we taught you how to talk. You were innocent. You were difficult. Innocent. I write. I wonder what difference it makes, this writing, this scribble on paper. The secrets I am told grow in my stomach. They make me want to vomit. They stay in me and my stomach twists like her lovely face, and my hands reach for a pen, a typewriter to calm the rage and violence that make a home in me. I write. I sit in this room away from my own, yellow legal pad beneath my hand, pen gripped tightly in my fingers. The writer who no longer writes directly on paper, the writer who uses machines to say the words. This pen feels like a knife in my hand. The paper should bleed like my people's bodies. I have a dream about Betty Osborne, the last secret of her life. Stabbed 56 times with a screwdriver to keep the secrets of white men. Betty, your crime was being a woman, an Indian, your punishment, mutilation, and death. The town kept the secret of who killed you. 17 years before the names were said out loud, they keep secrets to protect white men. Who do I protect with the secrets given me? My pen is a knife. I carve the letters Betty Osborne on this yellow page. Surely the paper must bleed from your name. Why doesn't it bleed for you, my throwaway sister? The sister I never met except in my dream, my obscene nightmare. Betty, do I betray you by writing your name for people who will never love you? What good is a poet? Christos. I think about those words today, and they hang like a knife or a screwdriver over my head, ready to pierce me and render me speechless. My speech that reveals itself on paper. What good is a poet? What good is this pen, this yellow paper, if I can't fashion them into tools or weapons to change our lives? How do I use this weapon when I must hold the secrets safe? This is not safe, being a writer. We are the paint for their palette, Sally Benedict. What kind of picture is painted with the ink I commit to this paper? How will they use it against us? Will I be the same as them? I love, they do not. Will love mark the difference? Today I woke bleeding from my vagina. My menses ended days ago. Is this where the blood goes? Running out of my womb instead of onto the page, into the words, the weapon, the words, ugly words, rape, murder, torture, speechlessness. I write and make words that are not beautiful. Rape, murder, torture, speechlessness. Dear diary, did you give her what she needs? Do I give her what she needs? A friend, a secret keeper, love? If love could be made visible, something to hold in the hand, would it be this pen, this weapon, those words I cannot stop writing? What were Betty's words? Where did our foster child's words go? Do words disappear, or do they linger behind like ghosts? Do they float like spirits? Do they cut through to a place I can barely imagine? When I expose words, who do I betray? If you hide the stories in the bureau drawer, they become bad medicine. Maria Campbell. Are some stories meant to be hidden? What we do to each other, what we do between us, the secret ugly things we do to each other? How do I show the blood of them, the ink of our own palate? Medicine. Who will heal the writer who uses her ink and blood to tell? Telling, who hears? Our foster child is with us 1 year. In that time he speaks, he cries, he points to his leg and asks, what happened? Who did this? A judge gives him back to his mother, the same mother they say burned him. And I wonder if the mother has kept a secret of her own, her man's secret. Has she lost her child for 3 years because of another's secret? What lengths and depths do we go to protect our own? The depth of losing a child. The length of being branded as the torturer of an infant. Secrets to protect. These pages should bleed. Dear diary, did you give her what she needs? Can I give what she needs? Medicine. I want my words to be medicine. Will the same medicine heal the writer who carries these stories inside her like knives? He did this to me. They did this to me. I believe her. Does she tell me so I can tell? The me that shapes words into weapons? What can heal the writer who dreams of Betty Osborne and can only imagine her words? Her last words, no, no, no. What can heal the writer who struggles to say the words for a little boy, a child who cannot speak until he has been loved? Dear diary, did your blank pages absorb the shock of the words written on you? Dear diary, did you give her what she needs, the need to tell and be believed? I need to tell. Carving letters on yellow paper to understand the violence committed against us by us. What can heal the writer who feels the screwdriver in her dreams? Who can heal the writer that feels the burning of a child's leg? What will heal the writer who feels like a traitor as she writes these words, this language of our enemy on these yellow pages? She said to me, I need to tell you this. You will believe me. She wrote, you can throw away this diary, but I needed you to know. He said to me, pointing to his leg, who did this? We did this. And they told us to be speechless. But they taught us new words that do not exist in our own language. Rape, murder, torture, speechlessness, incest, poverty, addiction. These obscene words that do not appear in our own language. What good is a poet who doesn't remember the language her grandfather taught her? What good is a poet who sees the power of those words manifested on us and in us? They stole our speech and raped our minds. If love could be made visible, would it be in the enemy's language? It is the only weapon I hold, this pen, this knife, this tool, this language. The writer has to tell. It is the weapon I know how to use. Dear diary, did you give her what she needs? Did you back away in horror at the pain of her life? Did you open beneath her to receive the blows of her testimony? Did you wrap your pages around her incest-battered body? Did you make her feel clean again, innocent? Yellow paper, please give me what I need. Pen, be my strength. If love could be made visible, would it be on the skins of trees, this paper spread out beneath my hands? Who will heal the healer? Dennis Maracle. Love as piercing as the screwdriver's thrust. Love as searing as the marks on an infant's leg. Love as clear as her face. Love as clean as a sheet of yellow paper. Love as honest as a poem. I have to tell. It is the only thing I know how to do. Yeah, I think this is an absolutely amazing poem. I think it's incredibly powerful, incredibly strong. There's so much pain and suffering and claiming redemption, seeking something positive out of the trauma of experience. I think it's absolutely incredible. I actually think it's a powerful enough poem that it's the only one of Brant's I'm going to read for this video.